Sorry I was late, Barney, but the boss gave me extra work to do.
That's all right, Fred. A job's a job.
Some job. Anyone who works in a stone quarry has got to have rocks in his head.
What does Fred Flintstone have to do with Pablo Picasso?
And now, fellow employees, I would like to read
George Jetson with Van Gogh and Monet.
titled 101 Ways.
They are, of course, all works of art. Sure, they may be worlds apart, but each in their own way, priceless artefacts of culture. While collectors may pay millions for the old masters, their modern counterparts fetch big prices too. An original animation frame or cell from the Flintstones can sell for thousands of dollars.
Good job. I never heard of it before. They just made it up this morning.
But whether it's Bedlam in Bedrock or a Cubist conundrum, how can we ever be sure it's the real thing? There are millions to be made copying a famous signature. Art forgery is one of the most covert crimes in the world, and you'd certainly have to be very lucky to pick up a counterfeit with one of these. If only these masters had had some foolproof way of protecting their works. A signature, no matter how well known, is too easy to fake. Well, now science may be coming to the rescue of modern-day masters like Joe Barbera, one of the people behind classics like Tom and Jerry and the Flintstones. He's put a lot of heart and soul into his work. And now he's putting in something extra, a microscopic copy of his own DNA, his body's unique chemical code, contained in an extraordinary new ink that gives him his very own biological signature that no one can ever forge.
I figured since I started doing this, I've done over 250,000 of them, 240,000 signatures over a period of 2.5 years, 3 years. So you can see that's a growing potential for counterfeiting.
O.J. Simpson and his defence team appeared confident.
Now, you've probably heard a lot about DNA lately. Its potential to link a suspect to a crime by matching samples taken from body tissues or blood. That same principle has now found its way out of the courtroom and into Toontown, and it's being very well received. It's DNA that gives us our inherited characteristics, maybe talent like this. You might be able to copy someone's style, but you can never fake DNA.
The art of counterfeiting has been going on for years, and the minute a valuable piece of property shows up, people begin to duplicate it and steal it. The minute there's money to be had, they show up out of the woodwork. This will foil that.
The ink and pens are produced by a Californian company called ArtGuard. Before you sign up, you'll need to fork out around $1,000, and the manufacturers will also want their pound of flesh, or at least a follicle of hair. The sample of hair, or it could be saliva, goes through a series of processes to isolate and copy a particular sequence of DNA. Each strand contains thousands of sequences, but you only need one to create an ink that's very much your own. This small vial contains millions of copies of a sequence of Joe Barbera's chemical signature. And because an individual's DNA is so complex, there's only a 1 in 20 million risk of another individual having the exact same portion of DNA. The mixture is simply injected into the ink, and a little piece of you goes into everything you write, from a tiny fragment of one hair follicle, enough to sign thousands of times. Okay, so what happens if there's a dispute about the authenticity of an autograph? Apart from DNA, the ink has also been infused with a secret chemical concoction that can be identified on the spot with a handheld scanner.
And when it's real, it makes an audible sound, and you said it's a visual.
So that tells you it's got the correct ink there. That should be enough to pick a fraud. But if there's any doubt, a trip back to the lab to match the DNA sequence will put the matter to rest.
I don't know if you want that encased in stone to make it more siren-like. He's just kind of sitting on a pedestal there.
For a company like Hanna Barbera, the protection the new pen provides is priceless. It's not a bad marketing ploy either.
Who's doing the layout? You know?
Bill Proctor did most
Oh,
of
yes,
it.
he's good.
Imagine how much one of these images, DNA signed by the creator, could be worth in years to come. And it doesn't have to stop with pens. The ink coating system can theoretically be applied to any surface, even a simple sticker. So this transparent polyester is fed through a standard printing machine. These Hanna-Barbera labels that come out at the other end are specially stamped with a number. And this number contains Joe Barbera's DNA. The stickers are applied to limited edition prints, which can also be DNA checked. And that same technique could have a variety of uses. Imagine one day all of us carrying driver's licenses, passports, credit cards, all chemically treated with copies of our DNA. Even banknotes could be protected by containing, say, the DNA of the head of the Treasury Department.
You're gonna knock him dead tonight, Freddy boy.
Back at Hanna-Barbera headquarters, a new generation of classics is being created for tomorrow's cartoon fans. Once they were pioneers in the animation world.
Everybody's gotta make a living.
Now this pioneering technique is set to authenticate them for all time. Now, if you're thinking of borrowing the hair of someone famous to reproduce their DNA, then think again. It's not quite that simple. Only a very small portion of their DNA is used, and your chances of picking it randomly is a bit like finding a genetic needle in a scientific haystack. But then again, if you can get your hands on the real thing... Joe, would I be able to borrow your pen?
Not a chance.
Oh.